welcome to Brian's Garage. Today we are going to discuss how to weld in the brackets to attach bucket seats into your Chevelle, Lemans, Skylark, or in this case it's a Cutlass, well 442. They're all the same, guys. All those cars are the same. So whatever we talk about here will work for all of them. Alright, so first things first, get your new brackets that you're going to be welding to your floor. Get those mounted to your bucket seat. You'll want to center those up in the holes and then bolt them down. You can see that here's the inside one on the passenger side. See, I've got that stud centered in that slot. And also notice it's the outside slot on the seat track slider, right? So keep that in mind. Also note that your bracket, the flanged portion, it's got the little flange on it, that goes nearest the transmission tunnel, right? The side here is just straight. It's just a straight edge, and it goes parallel with that depression into the floor pan. So bolt it down, centered best you can, front and back. All right. And he's going to be behind this one a little bit because he's got a spring on it, pulling it back. You can see I've got that line in there. That's a string I just put between two bolts so that you can see how far off it is. And before we weld everything in, we'll pull that right back into where it needs to be, in line with this string. Anyway, no bracket back here. There is a bracket up here on the front. This side is actually offset a little bit relative to the original hole. I don't know if you can see it in there, maybe. Well, not very well. You see it? Anyway, there's a hole, and it's offset a little bit. Plus, it needs that extra height. Otherwise, if you don't put that bracket on, so I understand the seat plastic will hit on the seat belt. What do you call that little thing that rolls up the retractor portion? So needs that bracket. Go ahead and bolt it on, center it up best you can. Just make it parallel with the front edge of your seat track, just right there, see? And throw it all in your car, and then bolt this corner down. We're going to use this as our basic datum because that hole's already in the car. Now some cars only have one hole. They might only have this one. Some have two. But whichever the case, this hole will always exist, and this is the one you need to use, which is the one that's closest to the transmission tunnel. And again, as on that side over there, you're using the outside slider, seat track slider hole, right? And try to get it centered up in there. Now we're going to take and rotate everything about this to make sure that this track is parallel with this edge, right, of our rocker. That's how we know we're going to be straight forward to back, right? And if you measure from way up here at the top of this track's going to be a continuous width because that's how tracks work, right? So get your tape measure in there and measure across. Let me see if I can do that right quick. There we go. So there is our basic dimension that we got to match up the front. It says 6.5, okay? So let's go turn the front. And we're going to put it right up there at the top of the track where it's the same thickness. And we're going to measure over to the... Is that working? And we're about, looks like, 6.5. Might have to bump it over, but anyways, that's how you do it. And if you don't like that dimension, you just bump it over this way or that way until you get it parallel. Then take and use your handy dandy scribe. Just scribe around your bracket up here at the front. That way you know where you're going to be grinding off the paint, so you can weld that dude in, right? And then you can weld it in that same spot. And for this one here, obviously you'll need to pull it forward until it's in line with this screw, and I've got a string to do that. And then once I hold that in place where it's pulled forward, then I'll scribe around that bracket and take this all apart, weld it up, and then bolt the seat in. It should be pretty much done. Alright guys, we have got it all welded in solidly, the final weld, and I did test fit everything before I put the final weld on it, and everything seemed to work okay, so I put the final. You can see that is a little bit behind the top of that crest, but this one here is just like right on the edge. That, you know, it's got that flange in the front that just right there on the edge of that crest for the pan. And I did measure across there, and it is 13 inches. Believe it or not, that's exactly what the internet said it should be, and you know what? That's what my own little thing told me too. 13 inches from that stud to that stud in the front, and it turned out to be 14 in the back here, from that one to the inside one was 14 inches, just like they said on the net. How about that? Oh, so I put a few welds on this. I just did that corner, that corner, that corner, and that corner. And I put a couple right here. I don't think they do a whole lot. I mean, this one here, obviously, it's going to do something, but that one in the middle, I don't really think it does anything. It's right above that cross member, though, so I guess it stiffens everything up a little bit. But as far as the support for the seat, I don't think that does a whole lot of anything. And of course, it went all the way across the front there. And that's it. Not too bad. Be sure you grind it down to bare metal before you try to weld, guys, because you notice what all's on this floor. It could be paint, could be asphalt, could be rust, and you want to get good weld on there. Alright guys, that's all I got. We'll talk to you later.